Hail me ducks, I'm just checking I'm not muted today. Don't want don't want that to happen again. It's showing that my microphone is working fine, so I'm just going to pop open the comments there, and hopefully this week you can hear me. So let's do the welcomes and introductions. So we've got Celia was the first one in. Hope we're all having a happy Saturday. Hello, Celia. Having a nice, relaxing Saturday today. Last week, sound is good. Thank you. That was somebody in the Facebook group. So, yeah, we're having a busy weekend last weekend. It's nice to have a little bit of downtime today. And we've got Ange and Ramon. Hi, Ramon. Ink Witchy Tarot. We've got Uncle, hi Brian, Rob, Caroline, hello Caroline. We have Barbara, and who else do we have? Tony, hi Tony, Red Wings, Sarah, Patsy, hi Patsy, SJ, Anita. We have Lily Rose, Debbie, hi Debbie, Jeanette, nice to see you. Sarah and Sandra. Hi, Sandra. We have Tarot with Jay. Marita, nice to see you. We have Anita, Star and Flurry. Golden, 1789, nice to see you. Naomi, hello, how are you? It's been a while. Hope you're okay. Lucy and Raven Glands, nice to see you. We have Kate, hi Kate, and Kelly and Elspeth. Joe, hi Joe, Joanne Morel, nice to see you. Malamia, nice to see Malamia, and Saskia. Robin's here, hi Robin. And we have, I think I've caught up. Oh, we have Cheryl from Oneness Emporium. Tony saying, evening, bri. Evening, gang. Soz, I'm not on YouTube yet. Busy week. Tried to get him set up with YouTube so we can join everybody because he's kind of like on his own in the Facebook group. But, and we got there, got him to log into a YouTube account, got him to, what's the word? Subscribe to the channel. But then he said it took over his phone and everything was YouTube, so we took it off. But we'll get it sorted. Yeah, so nice to see everybody, and thank you for coming. So, how's everybody's week been? So it's 2 weeks since I was last here. They can't see you, so I'm gonna have to post it. It's like, that's it. Make me sound thick. No, you're not thick. It's just technology and old age. It just don't go together, does it? You know, I'm jesting. But yeah. So it was 2 weeks since I was here. I've got a cuppa. We all got our cuppa. I've got some chai with some oat milk, which is really delicious, and it's gone really cold. It's funny because we've got Goose Fair happening at the moment. So Goose Fair is the UK's largest fair, fun fair, you know, with rides and helter skelters and big wheels and all that kind of stuff, as well as things like Hook a Duck and food stands. And every time Goose Fair comes, it's like the weather changes. So you can set your clock by it. And I think like last year, when Sandra and I went to Glastonbury, it was right at the end of October. We sat out in the garden because it was a really nice sunny evening. But whenever it's Goose Fair, it's cold and it's wet and it's proper, you know, almost like bonfire night weather. I'm blocked already. You're not subscribed, so you can't get onto YouTube. You can't block me. Yes, I don't know if people know much about Goose Fair, but it's historic. It's like 240 years old or something like that. It used to be in the square in Nottingham, just down in the city here. And obviously it was a trading fair for geese and things. That's why it's called Goose Fair. But over the times, it's become a fun fair. And we used to go when I was a kid, and it always used to be Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, just here for 3 nights. And then about 20 years ago, it started to be Wednesday to Sunday. And then since COVID, because there was a couple of years it couldn't happen, it's now 12 days. It does Wednesday, not to the first Sunday, but to the second Sunday. So making it like a 12-day fair. But I think I filmed Goose Fair back in 2018 on my channel when my friend Dan from Norway was staying, because he'd not seen it. So we took a walk down to Goose Fair. And it was, I did some filming, some vlogging down there. I need to restock tea with some new flavors. Oh, I need to check your teas out. But yeah, I really am enjoying this Wittards. I mentioned it last time. It's loose leaf, but it's really nice. So yeah, last weekend I wasn't here because on the Saturday went to Filey. Never been to Filey before, which is northeast up the coast on the northeast. It actually took longer to get there than the time we actually spent there, but it was nice. I went with some friends. We took the dogs, and they had a run in the sea and along the beach. So they love it. You know, they bark with excitement when they're running in and out the sea. And then we had some, because you can't go to the seaside and not have proper fish and chips, seaside fish and chips. So I had scampi and chips, and then we took a ride back. It was I think it took about 3 hours to get there, and about the same coming back. And then I've got another 45 minutes from my friend's house to here, so probably about 4 hours in total each way. But that was nice and fun. And by the time I got back, I think I got back about 6:30. I was exhausted, and I thought the time I set everything up here, I'd be late anyway. So I gave it a miss. And I needed an earlyish night because Sunday was when I went to Pendle Hill, which was fantastic. Loved it. And I would recommend, if you've never been to Pendle Hill, to try and get there. It was further than we thought, and took longer than we thought. And a friend drove, and she doesn't do motorways at all. So we used the sat nav and said avoid motorways. So it took a bit longer for that reason, but that was fine. And so that took about, I think, again, about 3 hours each way. But then I'd got an hour from where my friend lives. So again, it was about 4 hours each way. But that was the northwest coast. Well, towards the coast. It's just up past Blackpool way, if you know the UK, way past Liverpool. So it was quite a way up. So there was a lot of driving last weekend. I would love to go to Pendle Hill, but it's too far from me. Yeah, it's really too. Well, I think it's not too far from me, but I'm glad I've done it. But it was a long journey, and you have to go through things like the Saddleworth Moors, which is very bleak. In fact, not far from your end of the world, Cheryl. But yeah, highly recommend it. And if you do ever go, I would recommend getting a bed and breakfast or something and having a couple of days there, because we didn't attempt to climb Pendle Hill. We did the neighbouring towns, and we wanted to find the statue of Alice Nutter. We wanted to find the grave of the Nutter family, of where Alice is. And we wanted to go to the Witches Galore shop and the Pendle Inn and things like that. So had we stayed a night, we might have considered, although it looked huge, you know, it's a huge hill. And I think it takes 2.5 hours constantly hiking to get to the summit. And you'll have seen, if you've seen the videos, the top of it is in the clouds. So it's not an easy trek. And I only did the small hill to get to the sculptures in the woods, and that nearly broke me. 54 minutes for me to get to Pendle Hill, Naomi. That's really cool. And do you get to go often? I mean, 54 minutes is it's like me just going to Derby, the next city. Love the mug, Simon. Thank you. I got it from the shop where I bought the tea from. Because I think with tea, I like to have a clear mug, because I like to see that I've got the right strength. I usually leave my tea steeping for about 5 minutes, but I like a clear mug so I can, have a good look at it and make sure it's the kind of strength that I want. The drive up to Pendle on the A roads is lovely. Yeah, well, we actually went up, I think it was near, I forget what it's called now, it begins with a H, but the roads was like that and very narrow, and there's a sheer drop on one side. And one of my friends who was in the back doesn't travel. The friend driving doesn't do motorways. The friend in the back doesn't like country lanes. So very, very nervous. But there was cars coming round, and you're on a really sharp bend. And our ears popped because we was that high above sea level. But didn't come that way coming back. So that's a good idea to try and stay somewhere for at least one night. Definitely try. And if you do go, just stay in the B&B and just take your time. But Naomi says, yes, you do get to go very often. I haven't been for a number of years, but want to go back after watching your video. Hello, Face. Nice to see you. Yeah, so that was last weekend. So I purposely, other than what I do every weekend, which is walk with my friend and dogs and have a coffee and a catch up, I didn't plan anything for this weekend because I thought it would be nice just to chill out, do a bit of reading, do a bit of meandering around the shops, catch up on Grey's Anatomy. I'm on the final season now. I'm on 90. Can you believe I've watched 18 seasons, 400 episodes since May? And I remember starting it thinking, I'm never going to get through all of this. I'm not going to get through 19 seasons of the series. But I have. Today, I watched the 400th episode, and it was a bit of a roller coaster. So I'm about to start Love Your Pentacle. Thank you. I bought this from Witches Galore. It's pewter. I can't wear silver at all, even though it's on top. I tend to, and if you look back at my older videos, I tend to wear them on top of clothing anyway, but because I've got very sensitive skin, always have had. So what else has been happening? I wanted to mention, and if you're in the UK, you'll have heard this story, and it's heartbreaking. But if you're not, you might not be aware of it. I don't know if I can share this, but I've gone down a rabbit hole today watching about it because the news flashed up again that they've arrested somebody else now. But there's a beautiful, beautiful, famous tree in this country. It's a sycamore tree in Sycamore Gap. And somebody has just hacked it down. And it's on Adrian's Wall. It's famous. It's been in films. It's one of the most photographed trees in the UK. And it's just mindless. It's not even, I think it's belittling just to say vandalism, because it's not vandalism. They've actually killed a 300-year-old beautiful sycamore. And I'll just share this. So this is it. This is the sycamore tree, and look at that. It stands alone in between these two hills in Northumbria. and it's famous and it's beautiful. And somebody has, let me scroll down so you can see um, these images. Yeah, so the Sycamore Gap is where it's located. I mean, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And as I said, it's one of the most photographed trees. Um, people people know it and come for miles. People have been married under it, proposals, ashes scattered, messages left, as you can see here, these beautiful, it's just, and this is Adrian's Wall, and look at it now. Just look at that. It's heartbreaking. It's mindless. And I heard, I think it was on Thursday that they'd arrested a 16-year-old boy, who's now released on bail. But this afternoon or this morning, around lunchtime, they'd also arrested a 60-year-old. And they've now had to close off the area. People have been coming and laying flowers as tribute, and they've started to erect a fence around it. They're hoping, and it is a hope. Oh, just look at it; it's heartbreaking. I get quite emotional looking at this because I'm a nature lover. I'm a tree lover. You've seen me on my walks and my vlogs, and this would have been a place I would love to have visited. They are hoping that they may be able to try and grow from, part of the tree and get some little saplings and grow it again. But how long is that going to take? But they're doing studies to see if it's possible. Look at that beautiful image here. Exactly, Vanessa. Why would anybody do this? Such an iconic tree. And as I said, one of the most photographed trees. It was in a film, a quite famous film, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. But because it's on Adrian's Wall and it stands alone, this majestic, beautiful tree, people travelled for miles around to see it, and photograph it. And it's like, I imagine it's like Major Oak. If somebody came and destroyed Major Oak, and I don't know what the punishment would be for a crime like this, but it's just, I mean, look at that. Look how beautiful it was on the landscape. It is upsetting. It's really upsetting, but I just wanted to mention it because look at Adrian's Wall as well, just going off into the distance. Absolutely gorgeous. And even here in the foreground, there's not much left of the wall at all, is there? But I just can't believe it's gone, and why. There it is, just hacked down for no apparent reason other than just to be, just sheer wickedness. Anyway, I wanted to mention it because Sycamore Gap Tree is no more, which I think is incredibly sad. But let's see what you guys are saying as well. And I realise, there's probably for us here in the UK, we've known about this for a couple of days, but there might be others that haven't. Where did I get up to? Can I ask a weird question? What do you use for your overhead shots of depth walkthroughs? Your phone. It's an arm that clips onto the edge of a table, and it's got a bendy arm with a clip that grabs, and you put your camera in that, and you can twist it in any direction. They just twist it face down. They're on, you can get them from anywhere really online. They're not that expensive. Joe says, "Don't get me started on this crime raging. It's terrible, isn't it?" And yeah, Joe's sister Celia says the same thing. Apparently several hundred years old. It was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yeah, apparently it's 300 years that tree has stood there for some thugs just to come along and just, chop it down. I heard about it. I was absolutely appalled. Why would anyone want to do that? Yeah. Oh, hello, Chris. Nice to see you. Just home from visiting my friend. Nice to see you, Chris. Hope you're doing okay. I can't understand why a 60-year-old man would do something like this. Yeah, it didn't. When I heard the other day that a 16-year-old boy had done it, I mean, my first thought was, how? Obviously they've used something like an electric chainsaw or something, but I was thinking a huge sycamore like that, it's a wonder it didn't fall and kill somebody who was there doing it. But that takes skill as well. And then I thought it couldn't have worked on his own, I wouldn't have thought. And then today when I heard there's a 60-year-old man, I'm thinking, what is going on? What was I can't make sense of why somebody would do it. For what reason? Yeah, Patsy said, so damn senseless. It's a disgrace. People have no respect for their environment or nature nowadays. Exactly. And we really need to protect our natural spaces. So it's just, you have that emotion, don't you, being somewhere between enraged by it, but also really upset and saddened as well, and then on top of that, just trying to work out why somebody would do it. Unsure if it was cut down by Storm Agnes. It was a chainsaw. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. It's a cut. It's been cut by an electrical chainsaw. It's not natural at all. It's not been caused by a storm or anything like that. Tree at the start of the film when the boy is tied up. I can't remember the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves scene at the film. I saw it at the cinema. I don't own the DVD of it or anything. I wasn't that impressed by the film, from what I remember. It might have been because that song was #1 for like 20 weeks and drove me up the wall. No, that's not the reason why I didn't like the film, but so I can't remember it. I just know that it was in there, but it's it's an iconic image anyway in the UK. Someone attacked a famous tree in Queenstown here in New Zealand a few years ago. Why? Again, why? It's all over Facebook that it's not dead and will definitely grow back. In fact, although unintentional, they have probably lengthened its life. Yeah, but I mean, and it's wonderful that they can grow back. There's on about, I forget the word that they use, but taking apart the tree and trying to attach it in some way. And then they were saying, well, we could even, from the tree grow saplings close to it. But whatever it is, we're talking of a few decades easily before it'll be anywhere near looking like, the beautiful sycamore that it was. Some sick people out there, yeah. Bendy arm as in camera holder, yes. Um, Learning pains. Yeah, it happens, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The main thing about creating content is just that first switching on the record button. It doesn't matter that things. You look back at mine from 5 years ago, and I'm no techie now. Clearly, you remember 2 weeks ago, I was talking for 5 minutes without any volume. Definitely no techie. But, it took me a while before I could even put an intro on or an outro or edit bits together. It had to be one take and that was it. And so things come in time. And the more you play around with things, the more. I mean, I'd forgotten today how to, because I wanted to share that story. I'd forgotten how you even did that. I was here for like 20 minutes trying to work out how to share a screen because I don't do it very often. The only other time I've done it is when I did a giveaway and I had that spinning wheel, if you remember. But yeah, it's not. Oh, Michelle Ann's here. Hello, Michelle Ann. Nice to see you. Uh, yeah, 30 years we think before it will be big again. Chris, Chris says it like it is. If I could find it on here, I would add that bit. But oh yeah, there we are. You say it like it is. I wish I could say that right now. I really do. Um, but I'd probably get a ban. Uh, just trying to see if there's any other. Calla, hello, nice to see you. Are we talking about Robin Hood, Prince of Accents? Some jerk just cut down the tree. Have you seen it in the States? Yeah, I've just. If afterwards you watch this bit back, I've just shared some pictures of the beautiful Sycamore Gap in Northumbria, and yeah, um, Prince of Accents. It was it did get a bit of a slating, didn't it, for its accents? Uh, it felt like number one for 20 years, and it just when when I was talking about this, I don't know if Tony's still here, but who is in the Facebook group at the minute where I shared the comments, talking about it yesterday. Um, I'm not quite sure why. I don't think it was in relation to the sycamore tree, but was talking about. It might have even come on in the car, and we're saying what year it was. We did. We were saying it was 91. And I said, do you know, it's like when I first heard that song, I thought, what a nice song. But then when it's like number one and everybody's playing it and it was there forever, I was like, oh, this song. Antoinette, Tony loves that song, was in school, thought Kev was gorgeously handsome in that film. That's fair enough. Um, coping. Coping? Appropriate medication, neutered. They can't create more evil sperm. Sperm. Spawn. Gosh. Dear me. We won't be alive again to see that magnificent tree. That's terrible. Um, yeah, I hope, yeah, and that's going to be the next question that people will be asking Caroline is, what do we do with the remains of the tree now? And I would like to think, salvage what they can, maybe the trees, like I said, saplings and things. But it might be nice to use the wood to make some sort of monument or, something like that. Um, but yeah, we shouldn't even have to have that conversation. Is the point, isn't it? Um, uh, it's very witchy. Hello, Zohar. Um, Greetings from Hastings. Um, I live not far from Kevin Costner, and he's a decent guy, but he can't do an accent. Every time I think of Kevin Costner, I think of In Bed with Madonna. Now, I know it wasn't called that in the US, but the Madonna rockumentary that came out in 1990, well, it might have actually come out beginning of 91, but it was set around Blonde Ambition Tour, which was 1990. I think it was called Truth or Dare in America. I don't know about other parts of the world, but over here it was called In Bed with Madonna. And Kevin Costner comes backstage to meet her, and I don't think I don't think he was impressed with her show. He said it was neat, and she took offence to that, and she made this gesture like when he went out the room. So yeah, then there was this whole thing about, and I think she at the time was going to be Rachel in The Bodyguard, and then it went to Whitney Houston. If Ramon is here, I mean, he's an encyclopedia when it comes to Madonna. He'll be able to tell us if that was the case, but that was my memory, and I think that might be what he was saying to her, that, oh, that other thing is not going to happen. And then there was rumours that she was up to play Rachel in The Bodyguard, and it didn't happen. Okay, I'm back now. Have you had to go somewhere, Sandra? Welcome back. Make a bench and place it by the tree. Yeah. Truth or Dare. Yes. Popping, I mean, to get the new growth at the base of the tree. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Naomi. The backstage thing with Costner was about Whitney getting the part in Bodyguard instead of Madge. I thought it was. I thought so. It's not going to happen. Yeah, but why do that as well, though? You know, she's just come off stage, she's performed, and then he comes backstage and tells her, "Oh, by the way, your show was neat, but that other thing, it's not going to happen." I mean, choose your moments. So I quite understand why she did give the reaction that she did. Oh, I couldn't with all the tree stuff. I find it, yeah, it is distressing. Yeah, Kevin is a bit of a coward. Yeah, I did watch Dances with Wolves. I went to the cinema to see Dances with Wolves because there was that huge furore about it, about how amazing it was, and I went, and I did enjoy the bits that I seen, but I remember as well, I think I slept for about an hour in the cinema and nodded off, and had about an hour's sleep, and I just remember the person I was with just elbowing me because I was snoring. Um, but we used to work shifts at a motorway service station, and you did two mornings, 2 evenings, 2 days off, and it carried on. And every 6 weeks, you was back to where you were. So it was a 6 week rota, 2 earlys, 2 days, 2 earlys, 2 lates, 2 days off. But on the lates, we used to finish at 11 o'clock because it was 7 till 3 and 3 till 11. And then the Showcase Cinema, which was like the only multiplex cinema in Nottingham back then in the 90s, early 90s, used to do midnight screenings. They used to show films till about 2 a.m. So we used to finish work at 11, jump in the car, go to the cinema, and watch the films. Um, and about, half of the time I'd be asleep after an hour into the film. There's so many films I had to watch twice or wait till it came out on DVD. But there was video back then, VHS. But there was loads in the early 90s. I remember going to see them all, like Steel Magnolias, Sleeping with the Enemy, um, just loads of really, really good films. I remember going to see Silence of the Lambs after work for the midnight show. All those early 90s films that were really, really good. I love that this has turned into a Costa roast. No, I've got nothing against him. I just haven't seen. I think The Bodyguard is the film that I watched and enjoyed. But I've not really seen much. Don't really see a lot of his films. Don't even know if he's still acting, is he? I thought it was Warren Beatty who came backstage and called Madonna show me. No, it was he's in the film a lot, Warren Beatty, because she was dating him at the time, and he was the one that was having a go at her for living on camera because he was like, why she was having her throat examined once he so she was doing all this uh, 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 and he was like, this is insane. And she's like, why is it insane? He's like, why are you doing everything on camera? And she was like, because I'm making a documentary. He was like, you don't even want to live off camera. And he was having a go at her about that. But it was Kevin Costner who said that her show was neat. And then she says, anybody who says my show is neat has to go. So let's see what else you're saying. Love Dances with Wolves. One of my, I ought to really watch it again because I do remember thinking, oh, this is quite good actually, but then falling asleep. And I've never watched it. Yellowstone, big hit. Oh yeah, he's in that, isn't he? I think that's on a streaming service that we have to pay for over here, and it's not one that I do. Is it something like Paramount or I'm not sure. No Way Out was good. Costa was smoking hot in that. I'd never heard of No Way Out. Um, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you will not under whose shade you do not expect to sit. That sounds like a nice quote. Where's that quote from, Twixt? I don't understand how Kevin Costner can do Dances with Wolves and then turn around and star the opposite in Yellowstone. See, I don't know what Yellowstone is really about. I know it's about different generations, isn't it? Because I think there's spin-off programs from it that is like different ancestors or different parts of the family at different times. Um, so, like I said, I've not seen it because I have been to Yellowstone. Um, it was an interesting place. I spent 3 days in Yellowstone, and that was, gosh, what year would that be? What year did I get married? 1999. 1997, I went to Yellowstone Park. Yeah, it was great. I got some old VHS because I used to have a camcorder. Do you remember camcorders? Before you filmed everything on these, you'd have like a camcorder. And I did loads of, I've always been a vlogger, haven't I? I did loads of filming at Yellowstone. I'd love to get them all converted onto like a digital download or something. That'd be cool. But all I remember is as we drove, because we went up through Montana, Wyoming way from Utah, we went past Harrison Ford's ranch in Jackson Hole. We stopped off at an amazing rib place called Bubba's. I remember having ribs in Bubba's. And then as we drove into Yellowstone, we had to stop the car because there was like a huge buffalo just walking down the road towards the car. I was like, shh, 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 keep quiet. And it just walked right past us. So I was like this close to this huge buffalo or bison, one of the two. But yeah, it was interesting. Some parts really. We went to Yellow Canyon, I think it was called, and that's where I got shouted at because me and my fiance at the time, who I ended up marrying, there was this little kind of jutty out bit, and we looked across and said, "Wouldn't that be amazing to stand on that jutty out bit with the canyon behind us and have our photograph taken?" So we went and we stood on this jutty out bit, and I was feeling quite weak at the knees because it was like a sheer drop. and we had the picture taken, and then this ranger person was really hollering and shouting at us, and we hadn't seen it. Genuinely, we hadn't seen it. There's a little sign that said, "Do not go past this point," and we had. But yeah, and then there were some bits that were just where there was like sulfur and bubbling up, and it just stunk like rotten eggs, and it really turned my stomach. I felt really ill. And we saw Old Faithful. We watched that erupt. Yeah, it was nice. It's a nice trip. Yellowstone is about a family who settled in Yellowstone fighting to keep all their land against land developers and other greedy people. The spin offs are the earlier generations. Right, okay. Is it worth a watch? Does anybody in the UK know what streaming service it's on? I've got Netflix, I've got Disney, and I've got Amazon Prime. I'm not subscribing to any more because it's getting ridiculous in terms of costs. And I haven't got time to watch all those streaming services anyway. But if anybody knows what Yellowstone is on and whether it's worth watching, Last of the Mohicans. Was he in that too? No, it was Daniel Day-Lewis, wasn't it? Or was he in it as well? Loved Daniel Day-Lewis right back from the 80s when he did. It was the first gay film I ever saw, and it was called My Beautiful Laundrette. I've got it on DVD. And Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't a famous actor then by any stretch. I think it would be about 86, My Beautiful Laundrette, 85, 86. But really good. And about an interracial relationship as well between two men. I'm so afraid of heights, I can never. Oh, it's on Paramount Plus, and it was brilliant. Yeah, don't have Paramount Plus. No. Although I think my friend put me on his Paramount Plus. I'll have to check. I had Apple TV and I let that go because there was nothing on there that I watched. Simon, I know so many people who now, yeah, well, I've got one season left of Grey's Anatomy. I'm going to need something else to take that fix. Although my sisters suggested Station 19, which is a spin off of Grey's Anatomy. No, he wasn't in Last of the Mohicans. You just like the movie. Okay, shall we do Tarot Roulette? Let me know if it's something you want to do. I think the show has a good purpose of showing some of what happened to the Indigenous Americans and we've gone through. Yeah, the education of that would be good, definitely. Yes. Oh, I was like, yes, yeah, for Tarot Roulette. Okay, so it has to be the first person to answer. So the first one is a number between 1 and 25. And it'll just be the first one that appears in the comments here. Oh, we've got 23 is the first one by Twixt Tarot. Am I saying that right? Twixt Tarot. So number 23, and then we want left, right, or centre. Left, right, or centre. Now you're second on mine, Golden Girl. You're you put 21, but it appears after after Twix. It's just showing on yours first. See there, look. 23, and then you're underneath 21. Shows on yours first because it's your device. Right, let's see who got in first with Patsy with centre. Okay, so we've got 23, centre, and now it's front, middle, or back. middle, and that's Tony. So 23, that's 25, 24, 23. It's right behind me. And we've got front, middle. Yeah, is that right? I'm forgetting myself now. Center. Yeah, so center, and then left, right, and center, and then middle. All right. Oh, it's exciting. Let's see, we've got in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. Oh. Do you know, I can't grab it. Maybe I'll have to take a couple out. Right, this is the middle. I haven't got a clue what this is going to be. Come on. Oh, that's an empty box. That's no good. An empty box. That means it's out somewhere. Come on, there you are. Oh, that took some getting. The empty box was from Mary L. It's empty. And I've knocked that one over. Let me just put this one. This one, I'm not trying to get to the middle. That was harder because it was at the bottom, so I couldn't get down low enough. But I got there. So, Ravenous Dracon Tarot by Beth Salonen. Clowns to the left, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. We're not allowed to sing, are we? I haven't looked at this for a while. I went through a bit of a Beth Salonen addiction because she's one of these artists who each deck, you know, Patrick Valenza, Ciro Marchetti, who else springs to mind? Robert M. Place. You can look at their artwork and you can say that's a Robert M. Place deck, that's a Ciro Marchetti deck, that's a Patrick Valenza deck. But Beth Salonen, she's brought out so many decks, and they're all I want Mary L now. We did a joint video on Mary L. They're all unique. And the first deck of hers that I got was the Guardian Tarot, you know, the one that's the tree people. And I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. And then so many decks she brought out, but they're so different in art style. So yeah, it was just, this one reminds me of Monica Badersky's work. So I thought as well the box I had was bigger than this. I seem to think it was in like a big full-size box. It is by Red Feather because it was sent to me by Red Feather. I like this box. It's got a matte underneath with this gloss overlay. Yeah, and it's about the relationship between is it a raven or Ravenous Dracon, between a raven and a dragon. And it's lovely. So it says, follow the love story of an unlikely pair, Ravenous the raven and Dracon the dragon, through their tarot journey as they reflect and give that gentle, supportive nudge to one another to become their higher selves. This fantastical deck of 78 cards beautifully illustrates how awareness of both the light and dark components of the self and how they affect our life can empower one to make a plan to improve and to grow. The context and storyline easily connect to the human experience, encouraging growth within relationships as well as personal growth. And then the quote at the top says, sometimes people walk into our lives, sometimes they fly in upon a dragon's wing. And there's a couple of images there of Ravenous Ravenous and Dracon. So nice box, got the little ribbons at each side as well, as you can see here, to protect the spine. You do get this little book, which has full colour images. The book is 176 pages. And then I love the back. Now, I think either it was advertised incorrectly or they changed them, but the backs were different to what the catalogue, the Red Feather catalogue, had a different back. And I think it was white on black rather than black on white. So I don't know if they changed it, after they did the photography for it and the promotion for it, or whether there is a different version out there with different backs. But fun fact, Beth also did tarot of KIRC, Kilted Rubber Chicken. Kilted Rubber Chicken. That sounds fantastic. I've got about 5, I think, Best Island on decks, all in all, but each one is so unique. Caroline says, Simon, I have this deck. I love when you do the roulette wheel. Reminds me of decks. Should really be a lottery, really, shouldn't it? It's not really a roulette. It's more like, picking numbers or bingo, tarot bingo. But it's just stuck now, tarot roulette, hasn't it? Reminds me of decks I have once used and liked and needs to go out again. Yeah, and I'm only working with so many because I've got another room with another case full of decks. But yeah. So these are like an oracle shape, a size, I should say. So we'll grab the template just so you've got an idea of the size. I think it's it is taller. I think it's the same height, but so you can see here, much wider and taller than a standard tarot. So let's take a look at some of these. Oh, isn't it sweet? So if you remember, it's about the relationship between the two. In fact, because they're not going to be, which deck is this? Hi, Kathy. It's the Ravenous Dracon Tarot by Beth Silenen. Let me just pull out some of my favourite cards, because that's the problem with a lot of the decks I put back in order anyway if they're going on the shelf for a while. But they're not all going to be in order if I've worked with them and used them. So there's always that. There's always that kind of. That's the only thing about doing this, is that they're not always going to be. I've got to show that one, the Page of Cups. Kind of very different perspective, isn't it? I love the triple moon design on the little chalice there as well. Definitely need to get it. Oh, it is. It's gorgeous, and you kind of forget as well just how beautiful it is. And I know there's been like talk about looks like it's the same design on the cups. Animal decks, and I've seen I was watching somebody a few days ago talking about, do we need any more animal decks? And I think that's a really open question, because if you love animals, then it's like saying, do we need any more tarot decks, really, isn't it? I don't get why it would be posed, really, because yeah, there's something for everybody. Really gorgeous colours in the deck. Yeah, there is. I love bird decks. Yeah. Um, what's the one, Chris? If you're still here, you've got it. Where it had you got one that had got a version with red splashes in it. Is it Tower of the Crows? Was that was that one of them? I love that 9 of Wands. People were saying no more animal decks before Smoke, Ash, and Thorn, and what we do. Yeah, I don't. You know, I'm not. I'm not going to just try and be, you know, deliberately challenging or whatever. But I just never merge with the Crows. That's it. Thanks, Chris. I just I just don't get the question. Do we need more animal decks? Because when you think of tarot, there's every type you think of a genre or theme, and there's going to be a deck for it, isn't there? And the animal kingdom is vast. And there's millions of species. I thought I said the wrong. I thought I said something else then. Um, so, oh God, beautiful that star card is. Um, so yeah, I just think, why not? Why not? Okay. So I'm doing a pile of favourite cards, and I'm showing you the ones that I haven't put in the pile. I should have just showed each card, shouldn't I? There is a new dog tarot coming out in March by the same creator of the cat tarot. I thought the creator of the cat tarot did the dog tarot, or is it somebody else that did that? I love this Ace of Pentacles, little crow, raven on the top. Oh, here's our full card. Look, I was holding on to its tail, diving off that cliff into the precipice. Okay, let's show some of the favourites, so we'll never get there. All right, so got the Empress, beautiful. Anyone here have it? There's a deck I've seen lately called the Mareki Tarot. Almost no people in it. Looks beautiful. There's I do like decks that don't have people in it. One of my favourites is Spirit of the Place. That's a gorgeous deck. I really like the Spacious Tarot. And I think I'm pretty sure when I did my top 10 tarot decks of all time, which is going back about 3, maybe 4 years ago now, it is one of the most popular videos that I've done in terms of views. The Spacious Tarot was in that top 10, and then I got Location, Spirit of Place, and I just found it gorgeous because it doesn't look like there's people in it unless you turn it into the light, and then like a ghostly reflection of the archetype comes through. It's gorgeous. I've not heard of that. What was it called? Meraki Tarot. Ooh, Meraki Tarot. The Paul Six of Swords. I love the cityscape in the background as well. And do you see the trees in the background? That's like a nod to the Guardian Tarot. So even though I said her work is very, different mediums and different art styles, there's little things like that that kind of connects them. Gorgeous moon card. 4th edition. So that's incredible, then, isn't it? That something's in its 4th edition, and I've not even been aware of it. But then it's been a while since I bought an indie deck. I was going to get one for my birthday. I was going to treat myself to an indie deck, but I didn't because I didn't know somebody else had asked for my wish list, and so I thought if I buy something off it, I've been there before where I bought something and somebody else has bought it. So I've treated myself to a fountain pen because I always need a new fountain pen. But yeah, and that's coming next week. Love our High Priestess. Look at that. And how apt that what we was talking about today, and then we've got this beautiful tree for our High Priestess. Satan's pens. Carla, look out for the video. It's been a while since I bought a pen, and I've got my Bennu pens that I have on my desk here for my journal writing. And then I've got a leather roll up what do they call them? Like a pouch that rolls out, and I have the ones for work. And then I've got a blooming box here full of pens that aren't inked currently. I mean, there's a good 30 odd pens in there that aren't inked, that I can pick from time to time. I mean, that one, that's like a £200 pen, which is the Twisby, not the Twisby, the Lamy 2000. I mean, it's gorgeous, and then I buy another one. But anyway, it also has the yellow font like Shadowlands. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Look at that. The Judgment card. I want to get a Lamy pen to go with the Joy that I have. The Joy is a Lamy pen, Sandra. It's Lamy Joy. Knight of Swords. And 6 of Wands. So you get the idea of the deck, but it's really nice card stock as well, matte card stock. So yeah, that's the Ravenous Dracon. Shall we do one more? I think we've got time. Shall we pull another? So first one, 1 to 25. Whoever appears on this. Six. So Brian from Grunkle Tarot. Left, right, or centre? Can't get these back in now. Centre. Tarot Diva Ellie. Left, right, or centre? Front, middle, back. 6. Centre. Front, middle, or back? Middle. Right, middle, Naomi. So 6 is this one. We've got 5 along the top, in the middle, and what was it Naomi said? Oh no. The centre and middle. Okay, so it's in the middle. I'm just going to grab one of them from the middle. Oh. The Mystical Creatures. Now, this is the black and white edition. I do have the colour edition. Make sure it's not dusty. I got this in a trade with Sandra. Gosh, how many years ago now? Is it about 2019, I think, something like that. Beautiful, beautiful wooden box. This catch opens up. Baba Studios, I mean, they do beautiful decks. I love the pouch for this. I mean, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Must be at least 4 years. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then that's the inside. It's got Baba Baroque on the edge there. These are kind of like the similar design to Anne Fort's pouches. And was talking about Shadowlands. I've got one. Now these are going to be in order because it's kind of like a limited edition, and I've got the colour one that I read with. I'm not me sign ski with. That's annoying. There we go. Stay there. Now these are very detailed because if you're familiar with Mythical Creatures, the colour version, there's a lot of line work in these decks. So these are the backs. It's like a gold, actually. Again, so detailed. And there's our four. I just wish I had the big book for the Bohemian Gothic. Yeah, I sold my Bohemian Gothic. It was the only Baba Studios deck that I just couldn't connect with. And like I said, I think it's because it's in the twilight and everything had this blue hue to it. Isn't this stunning? I wish I had the book for the Baba Studios Fairy Tale. I think I've got the book. I think. Love this Emperor. Tim. And I love the card stock. Is it? I think they call it Black Core. So I remember the first time I got a Baba Studios deck, which would have been Bohemian Gothic, or was it Victorian Romantic? It was either Victorian Romantic or Bohemian Gothic. At first I thought, oh, the card's a bit thin for the price. And then I heard about, they use this special, I think it's called Black Core, which really gives the card's durability. Love the Wheel of Fortune. I'll just show the majors on this, just because of time. Yes, it's next Thursday, isn't it? Speaking of which, are we doing Fairy Tale Throwback? Yes, because tomorrow is October. Can you believe we're in October already? And first Thursday of the month is Chris and I do Throwback Thursday on both our channels. So that will be this week, the Death Card. Love Temperance. One of my favourites. And the Devil. This year's gone by so fast. The toilet roll effect, isn't it? Every year it goes quicker and quicker as you get towards the end. Runs out faster. So what do you think to the black and white version of Mythical Creatures? These are large cards as well, but Baba Studios, when they do their special editions, and they come in these beautiful boxes and things. It's like my Alice Tarot that I've got. The cards tend to be larger in the special limited editions. I'm glad I had this in colour, but the black and white is nice. Yeah, I should really show you a comparison, just so you can see the difference. If we look, let's take which one is really detailed. High Priestess, the Lovers. Let's go Temperance. I've said how much I like that card. These aren't in order though, because I use it. So the difference of the backs, this is the colour version. As you can see. And let's see how quickly I can find Temperance. Bear with, talk amongst yourselves. Not bad at all. So the size difference between the kind of limited edition and the standard is like that. So not huge, not hugely different. But as I showed you, that's the Temperance card in black and white. I'm trying to do it so there's no... and then here it is in colour. Okay, that's the best way to do it, isn't it? So you see, and it's subtle. And what this has got as well is it's got the cold stamping. Not sure if that will show actually on this, but it's like on the cup there, there's like metallic. Not going to show on this, but it is gorgeous. And then the pip cards, I like that. So yeah, I'm glad I've got both versions. But of course, when I got this one in a trade with Sandra, this wasn't available. It came out later. It's probably a second edition, I think. This one, was it? This is 2019. Gosh, 2019. So that's... I reckon we got this in 2018, Sandra, when we first started chatting and things towards the end of the year. But we are living the toilet roll effect. Life is getting shittier. I wasn't going to be that graphic, Robin. Over you're about how a toilet roll should be. We all gone down the toilet roll. We've gone to toilet humour now. Simon, life goes by fast, but it depends which way you have your toilet paper. Oh, that's what started it. I think it's expensive when I pay £50. Yeah, but that's the price of some indie decks now. I paid £50, over £50 for Fyodor Pavlov mass market edition. But yeah, it's again, I mean, I understood why, because the quality of it was really nice, to be honest. It is a quality mass produced deck, but it's still mass produced, isn't it? It could be Simon. Oh, was that, in terms of when it was? Okay, let's see if there's any final comments before I start to think about wrapping it up. If anybody's got anything they want to ask or talk about for the last 10 minutes or so before I pull a card, then now's your time. If it's under, then you're travelling back in time. If it's over, you're travelling forward. I'm going back in time then. There was a meme on Facebook yesterday I think it's, was it the Matrix, the red pill or the blue pill? But there was a hand holding a red pill and a hand holding a blue pill, and it said, "Which would you take?" And you can feel free to answer. The red pill takes you back to being 8 years of age, to live your life again from the point of being 8 onwards, knowing everything that you know now, or the blue pill means when you get to the age of 55, you get 40 million in the bank for the rest, however long you've got after that. It could be 20 years, could be 30 years, whatever. And I was like, wow, I've only got a couple of years to wait until 55. But then I thought, do you know what? Money doesn't mean everything. Actually, I'd go back to being 8 as long as I can know everything I know now. So I will take the red pill and go back to 8 again. And there's not a lot I'd do different, but I think I'd be braver than I was at certain points in my life. Red pill, red pill. Most people are saying red. See, I thought most people would go for blue. Because in this meme, lots of people are saying, well, I'm not far off 55, so I'll go blue. But I suppose if you're 30, you've got 25 years to wait to get that 40 million, and anything could happen. You might not even make it to 55. But yeah, I would go back, because then I'd be getting another, 40, what would it be? 44 years of life. I would have no desire to go back to my family of origin and have to stay with them for another 10 years. Yeah, that's the thing. It depends what you're going back to, isn't it? See, I had a happy childhood. So I would go back, but do a few things differently. But I don't want to, and that's the paradox as well. I don't want to change the course of history. I still want to end up here now, but having had more experiences. But then there's always that risk of going off in a different direction with life, isn't there? Serpent and the Peacock. Yeah, there's a third version out now that looks really nice. The Three Moons version, isn't it? And it's got the text on it. Chris says, well, if I had the knowledge now at 8, I could make easy millions. Just shares an apple. Yeah. Yeah. So there we have it. So a few people, did anybody say blue? I think people have just said that they take the red. Okay, let's pull a card anyway. I take the purple pill, mix of the two. Purple wasn't on offer. Oh, while we're on about Deviant Moon, on the board for Deviant Moon, just put me on the pre-orders. Oh, is that the Deviant Moon Tarot, the Deviant Moon Oracle that's coming out from US Games? Purple, great idea. I said blue. Oh, Patsy wants blue. And Midnight Unicorn also says blue. And Pam Journal Create also blue. No, there's no purple. Blue plus interest. Okay, let me think then. So let me think. I mean, let me clear my mind. A message for us that could help for the week ahead. We have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is a message for the week. Okay, so when I think of the Six of Pentacles, a lot of the times what comes to, because it's often the card of discernment, isn't it? You know, as to who we can help, how much resources we have, all that sort of thing. But for me, it's also about impermanent. God, I can't even speak today. Impermanence. The fact that things change on a dime, don't they? And sometimes we're on our up, and sometimes we're on our down. And sometimes we're the person who's having to ask for help, and there's no shame in that, you know, particularly if we've been the person that has been in a position where we've been able to help others from time to time. So, with the whole sense of impermanence, it's about, I guess, do we really own anything? We collect things through life, don't we? And that's often seen as wealth. But do we actually really own anything? Or are we just the custodians throughout this lifetime? You know, if you look around you, wherever you are now, and look at your stuff, yes, it's ours, but only for a time. We borrow it, don't we, whilst we're in this mortal coil. And so, you know, after we've gone, our worldly goods goes off in all different directions to family, friends, charity shops sometimes. So this card often reminds me of the fact that nothing lasts forever. And like I said, sometimes we're on the up and we can help people, but sometimes we're the ones um, in need. But with that thought of impermanence, then if we are in a position now where we can offer um, assistance to somebody, then maybe that's the message that's coming through this week. And it doesn't have to be money, you know. If somebody might be in need, and if we can afford to help them out, then so be it. But sometimes it's about giving other things, giving of ourselves, you know, love, giving love, compassion, empathy, friendship, our time, or even giving knowledge to somebody that's in need, um, giving advice, counsel. So it's a message and a remembrance to me that actually I'm fortunate for everything that I've got. I don't really own anything. It's borrowed for this time that we're here. But when I am in a position where I can help and somebody is in need, then, you know, I should give. We should give where we can. And if you're listening to this message now and you're perhaps in a position where you can't give and perhaps feel in need, then I think it's okay to go to somebody and ask for that sort of assistance. And again, it doesn't have to be money. It could be a meal that we provide to somebody. You know, who might be struggling to put a meal on their table at the moment. So yeah, interesting card to come up. But that's how I'm gonna kind of interpret it for this um, for this week for us. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been lovely to hang out as always. I missed being here last week, so it was lovely to be able to spend time with you all. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever it is you're doing. And just remember, stay safe. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.